Hello, good people. Thank you for tuning in to another one of my videos. My name is Cliff. Um, I'm going to name this video Keep Sleeping, We Will Protect You, Part 2. And with this video, I'm going to try and indicate to you that there are levels of control system that is very pretentious in our beliefs of what we think these systems are for. Um, with this video, I'm going to use a mayor of Toronto and indicate the deception of what is going on. First of all, this mayor is caught in many situations where it's not inappropriate his conduct amongst his dealings with society. He regularly gets drunk in public, and there's an occasion where he was caught smoking crack cocaine on video, and he's trying to deny this. Now, the police services have attained a file or video copy of what was proclaimed months ago that he was caught doing this, that he tried to cover up with his associates. Now, his name is Rob Ford, and he's the mayor of Toronto, uh, the largest city in Canada. Okay, so here we got the most one of the most powerful men in the country caught doing something that is inappropriate, and not even inappropriate, against the law. So now he's caught doing this, and we got the police chief of Toronto doing this. Statement. I wouldn't say it's an interview. It's more of a statement of attaining record of these files or these videos of the mayor doing crack cocaine or smoking crack cocaine with some sort of pipe. So during this interview slash statement, Bill Blair, who is the police chief of Toronto, states that he cannot come out and show the video to the public. And we are supposed to accept this because we are basically asleep. We are asleep to the establishment of control. Okay? We are the public that pays the government. They have tricked us into paying them for their services to us, but they control what you can see or you can't see. So in the statement here, Bill Blair says that he has, or his department has, done their job. They can't do any further because they have handed it off to the courts. And it's up to the courts what the public, us little people, see. So, come on, let's wake up. Okay, that being said, do you think that the public, if they were loud enough, walk down to Parliament, the court's office down here in Toronto, down in downtown, and stormed those gates, stating that they wanted to see the video, we wanted it to be made public, that it would not be made public? Of course they would. But we are just going to go back and crawl back into our cubby holes and go back to sleep and be too busy. Not only that, we're a busy society. We have our lives to live. We don't. It's the fact that we don't care and allow all these things to go on is why they are able to go on the way they do. Watch this video clip, okay?
The mayor of Toronto met with the mayor.
I do not believe so. I believe that we have interviewed quite a number of people over the course of that investigation, but that interview has not yet taken place.
Can you now confirm with the court documents released today indicate which is the Toronto Police Service has been surveilling and investigating the mayor of Toronto?
Let me confirm for you that the Toronto Police Service has been undertaking a very extensive investigation into allegations of criminality. That's what we've been doing. We've been conducting a criminal investigation, and in the course of that criminal investigation, we have been doing everything necessary to gather the evidence and to gather evidence in support of that investigation.
But the mayor of Toronto.
Just hang on a second, Sean. I'm going to take another question, Austin.
The mayor appears to be making transactions with Lisi. At one point, did your officers not want to pull him over and see what he was buying or what was in that transaction?
Again, the officers are very experienced and competent investigators, and they were gathering evidence. The proper course of action for us is to gather all of that evidence. If the evidence supports reasonable and probable grounds for the laying of a criminal charge, then to lay that charge and to bring that evidence before the courts. Now, it raises an important point. Our responsibility in the gathering of that evidence is to place it before the courts, and that's what we have done in the case of the traveler charges, in the case of the earlier charges with respect to the drug offenses that were alleged on October the 1st, and with the charges that were laid today. That evidence goes before the courts. I am not going to divulge the entire nature of that. The evidence goes before the courts, and it is up to the courts to make a determination as to the admissibility of that evidence and to whether or not it will be revealed to the public. We've done our job here, Austin. We've done an investigation where we have found an evidence of criminal behavior. We have pursued that to its logical outcome, and we have gathered the evidence. Reasonable grounds have been formed by the investigators. They've laid that charge. The evidence is now being placed before the courts, and the courts is the proper venue for the determination on how that evidence should then be treated with respect to its admissibility and its public disclosure.
Why not say if the mayor is in those images or not? Well, why not reveal that information? You're saying it's consistent with what was reported in the media. Maybe not expand on that?
I think it's fair to say that the mayor does appear in that video, but I'm not going to get into the detail of what activity is depicted on that video.
The mayor does.
I'm sorry, yes, ma'am.
The mayor does appear in that video?
Yes.
Was the victim of extortion the mayor?
What's that?
Was the mayor?
And again, you're taking me into the evidence, and I'm not going to go there. That evidence will be placed before the courts, and all of the evidence we collected, including the digital video evidence that has been recovered from a hard drive seized during the traveler investigation, which forms part of that evidence, will be presented in court, and the court will determine what, if any, of that evidence should be disclosed.
Just to clarify, you said that this is consistent with that video. What was reported was that the video appeared to show Mayor Ford smoking crack cocaine. Is that what you're saying is consistent with what you have recovered now?
We have recovered a digital video file, which is consistent with that which had previously been described in various media reports. And that file forms part of the evidence of the charge that we have laid today. That file will form part of the evidence that we present to court, and the court will determine what, if any, of that evidence will be made public.
One video file, Chief Blair?
Yes, there were actually several video files, but relevant to this investigation. Two of those files are particularly relevant to this investigation, and they form part of that evidence.
Did both of those videos show Mayor Ford?
And again, I'm not going to get into describing what's on those videos.
No, I understand, but you did
I'm-
confirm that he was in one, so I'm asking
I'm
both.
confirming that one was consistent with the video that had previously been described in the media. There is at least one other video file which appears somewhat relevant in this case, and so that forms part of the case. But I'm not going to get into it, and I apologize, but the right place for this evidence to be disclosed is in court.
Is there anybody else who's been charged along with you?
As of this morning, only Mr. Lisi has been taken and charged with an offense with relation to that evidence. The evidence is being reviewed, and if there is reasonable and probable grounds to lay other charges, that will take place. But I'm advising you, I'm just telling you, but I'm going to finish my answer if I might. That evidence will be reviewed, and if there's a determination by the investigators that reasonable and probable grounds exist to lay a charge, then any additional charges, that will take place. But this morning, I'm advising you that the investigators have formed the grounds to lay a charge against Mr. Lisi. That charge, he is now in custody, and that charge will be brought before the court in the coming days.
Can you explain why he's being charged right now? A summary of why Lisi's being charged.
I can tell you that the investigators reviewed the evidence, that they formed the grounds to believe that he had committed the offense of extortion, and on that basis, they've sworn to an information, and he's been taken into custody. The evidence will be presented in court where it belongs, and the courts will then determine what should be released. Yes, we launched an investigation. We had evidence and we had information about criminal behavior involving several people, and we investigated that. We followed up on that information. That's our responsibility. Without fear and without favor, to pursue every investigative avenue where there is evidence of criminal behavior. That's what we've done. And so we've gathered the evidence, and where we have evidence of criminal behavior that supports the laying of a charge, we've laid those charges.
Chief, have you seen that video yet?
What's that?
Have you seen that video?
Yes, I have.
What do you think of it?
Again, this is a matter before the courts, Austin, and I don't think it's appropriate for the police to comment on the evidence they're putting before it. We gather that evidence, we put it before the courts, and we'll allow the courts to make a determination as to what it means.
As chief of police, are you shocked?
I'm disappointed.
Sorry, can you clarify if
Can you elaborate on that?
I'm sorry, I'll do my best to answer all of your questions, but I'm going to have to do it kind of one at a time. So.
Is the video kind of intact? Is audio, is it all there?
Well, we have what we've recovered, and there'll be other examinations of that evidence, but there is an audio portion and there's a visual portion of the video.
You say you're disappointed. Could you elaborate on that, please?
Well, I think as a citizen of Toronto, I'm disappointed. I know this is a traumatic issue for the citizens of this city and for the reputation of this city, and that concerns me. But again, that's not for me to determine as the police chief. Our job in the police service is to gather evidence. And where there is evidence to support the laying of a criminal charge, to lay that charge and to present that evidence to the Ministry of the Attorney General and to the prosecuting attorney so that it might be properly dealt with in a court of law. That's what we're doing here. And frankly, to comment otherwise, to make, comment on what does it mean is inappropriate for me to do that here today.
the mayor has been interviewed in relation to his appearance in this video? Has the
Sorry?
mayor been interviewed by Toronto Police?
No.
When is the extortion relationship happen?
It again, that's over a period of time commencing in earlier this year, beginning as early as there's a number of events beginning in April and carrying forward through to the present.
Media reports that you referenced?
I'm sorry?
Subsequent to those media reports that you referenced?
Again, I don't have the precise dates, but some of the evidence involves, it arises from events prior to those media reports and continues up to the present.
So there you go. Bill Blair is speaking right in your face, and he's telling you that there is another level above us, above me, that controls what's going on here, what goes on from here. They're telling you right in your face that we, or his department, is no longer in control at this point. Looking you right in the eye and telling you it's above me. My level of clearance is done. Wake up, people. It's much easier when you've been told, like I have, from the Holy Spirit, what is going on and what is about to happen. People wake up. Find Jesus.
The evidence goes before the courts, and it is up to the courts to make a determination as to the admissibility of that evidence and to whether or not it will be revealed to the public. We've done our job here, Austin. We've done an investigation where we have found an evidence of criminal behavior. We have pursued that to its logical outcome, and we have gathered the evidence. Reasonable grounds have been formed by the investigators. They've laid that charge. The evidence is now being placed before the courts, and the courts is the proper venue for the determination on how that evidence should then be treated with respect to its admissibility and its public disclosure. The evidence goes before the courts, and it is up to the courts to make a determination as to the admissibility of that evidence and to whether or not it will be revealed to the public.